Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is easily the top contender for Game of the Year. The game's combat is fast and engaging, despite it being turn-based. The landscapes are lush and beautiful, with others being dark and depressing, but always fitting the mood. The soundtrack is phenomenal and perfectly adds to the atmosphere, and the story tackles deep philosophical questions, all the while simply being a good story with greatly written characters. To me, however, the prologue is on a whole other level compared to the rest. It is one of the best introductions to a world, to a story that I have ever experienced. Warning: this video contains spoilers for the prologue of Expedition 33, so if you don't want to get spoiled, click away now.
Dim, dam, la, di, la, vacarme, s'en va dans l'oubli éternel. Et Gustave, dom guardiam, di, 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 da, lute sera, do, di, dom, sera.
So, immediately, we are shown an absurd yet interesting image of a shattered world, which resembles Paris. It's a French game. The Eiffel Tower, with its crooked peak, immediately stands out, and half of it is completely cut off from its foundation. Other pieces of debris are also floating in the sky, as if there was an explosion, but time stopped midway, and the explosion never fully happened. Then we see the harbor, with monuments just as frozen in time mid-destruction as the Eiffel Tower. People are gathered there, and flower petals drift through the sky. But that is not what catches our eye. It is the gigantic monolith across the ocean with the number 34 painted on it that already fills us with intrigue. We continue to the next scene, the monolith still in frame. We find ourselves in a flower garden with a man looking into the distance. The soundtrack has long greeted us with a sad yet lively melody, perfectly putting the mood together.
If you're gonna give someone flowers, you should probably do it before they wither and die.
What, the flower? Or Sophie?
Ooh, dark. Sophie would approve. Hey, you said it, not me. The others are waiting.
We get our first bit of dialogue, which introduces us to important characters and concepts of this world. The paintress, the gommage, the expeditions. And they do this all without explaining anything to us directly, making the dialogue feel natural, like it really just happened like this in this world. It's also just fun to listen to, and not at all boring.
I'm enjoying the uselessness of today and readying my usefulness for tomorrow.
I don't know, man. That's just a cool line. Maybe it's also because I like to procrastinate. We also get a dark joke at the start, which only further solidifies the idea of a post-apocalyptic and dying world. Historically, dark humor has thrived most in times of crisis and hardship, giving the people a way to cope with their misfortune. So this totally fits. We run off to meet Sophie and bring a flower with us. Some run faster than others. We find out that Sophie is Gustave's ex and that she is 33 years old, today being the day of her gommage, which we still don't fully know what it means. We find her, and once again we are proving that this game does not mess around when it comes to dialogue. The voice acting is great, but what brings it all together are the facial expressions and the body language.
Can we talk?
Gustav. I love you all.
That's for your, if there's room.
There's always room.
You know, I'm
MSG.
sorry that... I
You
miss
don't
you
need
too.
to... Okay.
You go.
You.
You know how I feel? I wish things had been... You know, I often think...
You can just feel that these two have a long history with each other, but that they haven't seen each other in quite some time. The awkward tension, speaking over each other, struggling to find right words, all of this just adds to the immersion and makes the characters feel so real. It's crazy how they already made you care for these two characters in the first 10 minutes of the game, while there's TV shows out there that don't even manage to do that after 3 seasons of their whole runtime. It's just amazing.
Walk me to the harbour?
Yes.
We walk Sophie to the harbour, and there are flower petals everywhere. Buildings are being engulfed by a strange rock, and we see furniture scattered across the streets. There are also a few copy-pasted crowds, but we can ignore that for now. On the way to the harbour, we learn more about everything that is going on through various optional interactions with NPCs, giving us enough puzzle pieces to piece it all together. We know now that the gommage means death, even if it isn't directly mentioned, and the paintress is behind it all. It also has to do with age, and today is the 33-year-olds that have to gommage. The number on the monolith goes down every year, marking the death of anyone that is of that age. But the people of the city are not completely powerless. They send expeditions every year to the paintress in hopes that they can stop her and find a solution to this crisis. It is weird, having a clear deadline for when you are going to die. It's literally a deadline. The people in the city all have different ways to deal with this cruel reality, and they also form different philosophies and ideals. They want to send children into the world, so humanity doesn't end, in the hopes that the expeditioners find a way to defeat the paintress? Or is it immoral to give life to someone that is most likely doomed to not even grow up to be an adult? It's not an easy thing to consider, and even I don't know the answer to that question if I was in their shoes. This topic was the very disagreement that caused Gustav and Sophie to end the relationship. We see people trying to make the best of the last years of their life. Other people that give the last year to join the expedition, to find a solution, and people who drown their sorrows in alcohol and are lost in hopelessness and despair.
None of you ever come back. You go and you take our resources and you waste it all on a fucked up hero adrenaline fantasy. And still, she kills us.
We also have this couple that wanted to spend the last moments committing the acts of love.
Not everyone attends the Living Wake or goes to the harbour for the gommage. Some prefer more intimate goodbyes.
Did you know that if you interact with this door 33 times, that you get a special interaction?
Come on, you've been listening for too long now. Made things more exciting at first, but now it's awkward. I'll give you this and you leave, okay? Just go do it together.
Also, there's this dude in a trash can.
Hey, you. You've been here for quite a while now. Can you leave? I don't want to draw attention to myself.
While all this story stuff is going on, the game doesn't forget to show us the actual gameplay and teaches us the ropes with 2 duels against Mile and this weird mime who is actually pretty strong. Arriving at the harbor, we meet Gustav's apprentices that bring him his expeditioner's uniform, and we get to see another cute exchange between Gustav and Sophie, once again showing their great chemistry. Sophie is ready to spend her last moments together, and then the climax finally begins. The Gommage, a scene put together beautifully with its neat lighting, great camera positioning, and truly emotional music, crafting an unforgettable moment.
Esti tonere marina, esti linaki soledad, tona lora tovla, alina. Esta surano taki, les renoir, tonare fuego verso, alina, ai.
I'm here.
Wow. Just wow. Even after seeing this scene so many times, it still manages to hit me. I really like that they had the courage to hold the tension for so long. They just stand there for almost a minute and a half, waiting for something to happen, before the paintress even gets up. Gustave is looking around, while Sophie cannot look away from the monolith, the paintress. Even after the 33 is painted, it takes a full minute for Sophie to gamache. It just helps us let the emotions that our beloved characters are feeling marinate for a bit, make us feel what they are feeling, engulfing us in this moment where everything unfolds and everyone starts turning into dust, making it all hit even harder. I also noticed Sophie's immediate fear reaction once the 33 was painted. She had her whole life to prepare for this moment. She knew she was going to die this day. Her whole life. She had all this time to contemplate. But still, when it came to it, she was scared. Of course she was. No time in life is enough to prepare you for death. The moment in my own life that comes closest to this was when my dog died. He had been sick for a long time already, and all of my family knew at some point that we had to let him go soon. I thought I was ready, I really did, but when we went on our last walk together, and then the drive to the vet, and everything that came after, it hit me. It hit me that I could never go on walks with him again, never cuddle him again, and it was fear and sadness that overcame me. Seeing this in Sophie reminded me of my own experience, and it just goes to show how well they managed to write the scene. Sophie's reaction is just so real, so human. Hats off to the creators, man, really. However, sadness and sorrow is no way to start a story and set sail into an epic adventure. The expedition festival begins, so that the expeditioners get to enjoy their last night in the city before heading for the paintress. Gustave goes to the festival. Lucien and Margot appear to try and cheer him up. They do it in a very clumsy but adorable way, which once again just feels so real. I can totally imagine someone in real life trying to cheer someone up in this way. Some may say it's distasteful to try to make someone cheer up after the death of a loved one. But let's keep in mind that they knew all their lives that this day would come, and are very used to experiencing the deaths of family and friends. They cannot afford to grieve for too long, especially since they have an important mission to complete. On the festival, we get to talk to all our fellow expeditioners and get to know a little something about their character. We also see Maël again, who is the youngest expeditioner joining. Usually, people only depart for the expedition on their last year of life. But Maël doesn't feel at home on this island and desperately wants to leave. We also get this haircut that nobody likes, and some other useless junk from some vendors. There is also Baldy here that quizzes us on the history of Lumière, our city, which does break the fourth wall a little bit. There is this basic thing in storytelling called show, don't tell. It applies to many things, like describing characters. Let their actions speak for themselves rather than explaining their character. This also includes infodumps that are meant to explain the world to the viewer. But that conversation between two characters in this world does not make sense inside of this world, because everybody in the world already knows all of this. Many low-budget shows do this, and it frustrates me sometimes. In anime, they often make isekai nowadays to go around this. In isekai, the main character gets transported to a new world, and then the infodump dialogue actually makes sense because the main character is also new to the world, and a local of the world is explaining it to the character and the viewer. So Isekai basically gives them an excuse to infodump instead of coming up with high quality dialogue. Expedition 33 has been masterfully avoiding this so far, only giving us the best quality of dialogue. Up until Baldy here. But they do it quite ironically, and to me it doesn't really take away from the story. They probably just put it in to make sure the player understands what's going on in a slightly humorous way. So I have no problems with this interaction. The sun is about to rise after a whole night of partying, and Emma, the chief counselor, begins her speech to bid farewell to the expeditioners.
As you sail into the unknown, know that Lumiere stands with you. When you battle the Paintress, know that Lumiere fights with you. Let the stones of her monolith crumble. Let her body lie at the end of the world. Unable to paint another death, let the stars no longer be hidden by her oppressive silhouette. Let the world once again watch the sunrise without the shadow of her cursed figure. May the wind of renewal take you to the ends of the earth. Tomorrow comes. Thanks to you. Expedition 33.
Oh, Clair Obscur.
This could very well be the end of the prologue and mark the beginning of our journey. Our thirst for adventure is burning stronger than ever, and we are ready to go on a glorious quest to slay the mighty Paintress and save the world. But we don't end it here just yet. We arrive at a dark, misty beach and meet an old man. That in itself is already very mysterious, but in Expedition 33, it's even more curious. There should not be any old people. There can't be. The Gamache killed them all. Everything we just learned about this world is immediately challenged, and the old man is not ready to give us the answers that we seek.
Which expedition are you from? Fall back!
There is a fight sequence. More like a massacre, but definitely an action sequence. Many games usually start with action, just like this one. It's a great way to quickly show the players how to fight and what buttons to press, to introduce them to the game mechanics. But narratively, it's often not a great idea. There is action, but we don't know the stakes yet. We don't know the reason for the action, and why we should care about what's happening. And that takes away a lot of the intensity of the action sequence that is going on, making the scene itself less impactful. But here, we do know the characters, and we do know what's at stake. And just that simple fact alone serves to give us more of an impact.
fucking snuff out!
Everyone dies, and Gustav wakes up, alone, in an unknown land. The spirit of adventure and the feeling of being able to accomplish anything as a team that was built up just mere moments ago was shattered yet again, and all that is left is despair and the feeling of powerlessness. But there is also something else. Curiosity. Who is this old man? And why didn't he get taken by the Gamache? What else is there in this world that we don't know? And that is more than enough to hook us and yearn for answers. And Act 1 begins. All the scenes so far have been of the highest quality, so that we could have an immersive prologue that can only be described as a roller coaster of emotions. Maybe this prologue is not the perfect introduction to a game, but to me at least, it is the perfect introduction to a story. To the story of Expedition 33. And I think many storytellers could learn a lot from it.